Welcome, everybody. My name is Reno Falvo. I'd like to introduce you to a special guest today, all the way from Australia, Meredith Rangel from Bookable Tourism. Meredith, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's get started with kind of introduction so everybody gets to know you. So give us a little bit about your background in the industry.
Sure. So my background in the tourism industry has been since starting university. So I did a Bachelor of Tourism Management at university in the early 2000s, and I've been working in the industry ever since. So I've been working across hotels and resorts, from your reservations right up into your international sales roles.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about Bookable Tourism and, why did you get it started? Because I'm very curious about that part of your story.
So I started Bookable Tourism about 2 years ago, and it basically was born out of a gap that had been identified by not just by myself, but multiple people in the industry. So I was basically contacted by quite a few people who worked in the government space. They were found that they were working with whole regions that still were majority not online. During my time, I have seen all different types of ways that booking systems can be procured. And I've basically distilled down a framework for a tour operator or an attraction to use that is simple, it's guided, and at the end of the day, once they've gone through and they've chosen, they know exactly what their business needs, and they've found a system that meets those needs. Part of the reason I started Bookable Tourism also was that I found that because of my experience in helping all of these businesses choose a booking system, and because I've had great experience and great teachers and mentors who have taught me the best marketing practices and also the best sales practices, I want to teach these skills and to show that smaller businesses that they too can build a great marketing strategy, and they don't need a university degree to do it, to run their business, and same with a great sales strategy, and then also find a great booking system to support that sales and marketing strategy.
That's amazing. I honestly really like your business model because I understand that, let's say you're a mom and pop and you run a kayaking business, diving into technology is sometimes overwhelming. And I always, you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes it almost puts you off from making those changes. But, someone like yourself offering a service where it's like, you know what, let me be your guide. Let me, with all your knowledge and experience, you can find people's needs and wants and find the perfect match. I think that's just a great business model. I think it's great.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
So how is the Australia tourism industry doing now that travelers are starting to come back to Australia?
So the Australian tourism industry currently in the recovery stage from, the pandemic, even though it's ongoing, there's almost a two-tiered kind of that's happening at the moment. So there are regions in Australia that are doing extremely well. So it's hard to get a room, it's hard to get a seat on any tours, it's difficult to get in these regions. And that's a result of, the borders were closed for quite a long time. And so, people are still seeking their holidays and so on. And so these regions, which were on a lot of people's, to-do lists one day, all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, let's go to these great wine destinations and let's go to Central Australia or to the top end or to Cairns and to the Barrier Reef and do those kind of quintessential Australian holidays, which a lot of Australians actually hadn't done. Inbound, so that's the international customers coming into Australia. Inbound is coming back. It is slow, but it is coming back. So we're seeing that the inbound tour operators are starting to hire again and are getting busy again, and they're having departures again. So that is a really good sign for the Australian industry, because the inbound industry was traditionally the third largest export industry in Australia. Unfortunately, there was some fallout. Some businesses haven't survived, but we're also seeing the creation of some great new businesses as well and new experiences. We are also seeing a strong swing to direct bookings.
Okay.
As a result from COVID. So one of the largest tour operators, I know they traditionally before had a 60-40 trade to direct business split, and their direct business has gone up to 80%.
Oh my goodness.
So that's another reason why, getting this booking system in place, if you're a tour operator or an activity that don't have a booking system and you can't book online, then you're potentially losing quite a lot of business at the moment, because that is actually how Australians are preferring to book, is through those direct channels.
What kind of opportunities do you think they should prioritize and take advantage of now, especially over the next 6 to 12 months? Because as you were mentioning, there's it's multi-tier in terms of increase. There's domestic travel, and then there's also inbound travel that's kind of being slow. What opportunities would you suggest partners to focus on?
Depending on where they're located in Australia, the peak season is still forecast to hit Australia in October. So first thing first, if you don't have a booking system in yet, you have to get one in now, basically. So, and you've got enough time to be able to test it and, to make sure that, you get through all of that teething period before that peak season happens. The second thing that I recommend for all tourism operators to have is to develop their own sales and marketing strategy. And the reason why I recommend this is this gives every tourism business complete ownership over how their product is going to be sold and how it's going to be marketed. The third thing that I would recommend for any operator to do is actually put together a business continuity plan. The reason why I say this is because I believe it's every operator's responsibility to look at everything that might possibly happen in their business that might impact their revenue. Things can happen, and you need to be able to have a plan of action of what to do if this ever happens.
Now, with your business and you're talking to your customers, what would you say is the biggest pain point that your customers are coming to you, especially when it comes to, from reservation systems and such? What is their biggest pain point?
The biggest pain point that I hear from customers, well, there's quite a few. It's actually quite holistic at the end of the day. There's a lot of things that they're needing. The amount of admin that they're having to do is it's slow death by admin, basically. And if they don't have a booking system, a lot of them are still getting phone calls. So people are still calling them to make bookings, and if they're on tour, it's hard to answer the calls, so then they're having to call back later, answering emails and so on. Then the payment process, it just snowballs. So there's so much admin that they're struggling to cope. The second thing is they've acknowledged that they need to be online. So they need to be able to be booked online. They know that their customers like an option to book online. And now, even if you're a private charter company or you're a really high-end tour company, they still need that option, basically. So while you might customize that entire itinerary, and you still need to call them and correspond with them, but there still needs to be an option available for them. And even if you don't get that many bookings through it, it's still there for those people that are happy to book, because there's a lot of people now who will spend a lot of money online without a second thought, basically. And then the third thing is that they're just wanting to streamline. So streamline their processes, make it easier for themselves, for their team, free up their time. And that's a very big issue, is they want to free up their time to be actually doing the things that they want to do in the business, as opposed to, which probably ties into point one, admin.
Well, yeah. And you know what, that's a really good point, because my next question, this is good. I was going to ask your opinion from all this experience. What would be the three things that tour operators will gain when they use a booking software?
The first thing they will definitely notice is their time, is the amount of automations that booking systems provide. It just saves so much time. One of my other favorite things, which I think is underutilized by a lot of people who currently use booking systems, is the validation tools. So, still, I understand if you say you're a tour company, you don't need to print out a manifest anymore. There's no more pen and, finding the name and crossing them off. You don't need to do that anymore. You can simply scan confirmations, and again, it immediately validates, that ticket or that booking, and it changes their status, that customer's status, into, that it's traveled. And so then the revenue from a finance side goes, ba-ding, that's actual revenue that can go through. It's all live and it's up to date, and I can do my end of day. It's all done immediately for you. And so that is definitely the biggest thing, is that time that you're going to get back from having a booking system. Number 2 is the opportunity to sell more. So as mentioned before, if you can see your sales mix and then go, okay, I've got opportunities in this market, you can see those opportunities and you can get those opportunities up and running a lot quicker with the booking system. Nowadays, to work with these OTAs, a lot of them prefer a booking system in place, and even Viator have said, if you don't have a booking system in place, you're going to be further down on the list. Booking system is going to be up the top because we know we've got availability, we can see the rates, it's instant bookings, right? We know that's what our customers want. So by having a booking system in place, it allows you the opportunity to grow your business, grow your revenue, increase your sales channels, and basically optimize those opportunities available to you. The third thing is data. By having a booking system in place means that everything is being tracked. So with everything being tracked means that you can pull reports on all the different things that you need to learn more about your business. Now, this is one of the things that I've always said a booking system does. It provides your business visibility. So you have visibility of your entire business. You can see it holistically, 360. You can see every single part of it. You can see all the different processes, all how people are booking. You can start figuring out things about your customers, lead times, what channels they like to book in. You can figure out the yields for each channel. How are they booking website? If you've got it inbuilt in with your website and then you're using your website analytics, then you can see, well, how many pages are they looking at before? What pages are they landing on? So if they're landing on this page, but then it's taking them 4 clicks to get to the booking, how do I make it easier for them to convert? So I'm going to move my booking checkout to here so I can then make it 1 click to convert. Data means business decisions and informed business decisions. And so if you don't have a booking system in place and you're using a spreadsheet or a diary or a calendar, the amount of data that you're missing is exorbitant. So if you want to know every little thing about your business, a booking system is going to provide this.
Who would you recommend Rezgo for?
I would recommend Rezgo for all types of business, actually. So if you're a small operator, you've never used a booking system before, Rezgo is very intuitive to use. It's very easy as your first booking system. But the thing that I actually love about Rezgo is that the way it's set up is you get access to the entire suite. So even if you aren't going to use all of the tools, that means that as your business grows and as you grow, it will scale with you. So you might not use, say, the price sheets option today because you don't work with trade yet, but in 3 years' time, You might start working with trade and you need that now, and you don't have to change systems. It's all just there. And so I'd recommend, so if you're starting out, that's a great one. But then if you have outgrown your booking system and say you are a company that's probably the medium to large side, you know your business well, you know trade, you know distribution, you know all the yields and everything like I've been talking about, but you really need to automate things a little bit further and also take that revenue management just that notch up. Then Rezgo is definitely the option. The rate management through their pricing sheets to me is, in my previous roles as a sales manager, I probably would have cried tears of joy because it's so easy to use. And once it's set up, it's set up. And the bit about revenue management I loved is the fact that there is that allocation tool in there. So you could be working with an OTA and, during your low season, you might, bump up. It's almost like an allotment. So you might go, I only want to sell 30 seats or 40 seats or 40 entry tickets or whatever it is through that particular OTA. But then during your peak season, you can rein it in because you know that your direct business is going to beef up over that time. So you can rein it in, still distribute through them, but then push more to increase your yields through your direct if you know that that's what's happening during that time. So if you're more of a sophisticated business, you've been around for a while, then Rezgo is a really good option to go to that next level. And also if you need really more in-depth resource management, which I know a lot of people do. So you're managing, again, for these medium to large size businesses, you've got multiple vehicles with all different sizes, seats, capacities, then it will just make your life so much easier by using a resource management tool that you can see those seats and you can allocate accordingly and so on. So I think if you're at that stage where you're kind of outgrown your current system and you're looking for the next step up, then Rezgo is a really good option as well.
Thank you so much, Meredith. This discussion has been fantastic. Can you tell me, where can people find you?
So you can find me online. So my website, which is www.bookabletourism.com.au. It is a .au at the end, remember, because I'm in Australia. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram, both of them at Bookable Tourism, and also I'm on LinkedIn as well. Now, if you are not based in Australia and you need help finding a booking system or just some guidance in navigating the world of booking systems, feel free to reach out to me, and you can reach out via my website or you can DM me on any of the social media platforms.
Thank you so much. And you know what, anyone who's watching, I highly encourage you, reach out to Meredith because she's got so much experience in the industry, but she can really help you in terms of finding your needs and wants within the tourism industry. It doesn't have to be just Australia, it could be anywhere around the world. But thank you so much, Meredith. This has been a great discussion, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you so much for having me.